This section is on evaluating rational expressions. The very first thing is the fifth root of 32, which means that we have the same number multiplied together 5 times. So we know it is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So the fifth root of 32 is 2. Now we have 9 to the negative 1/2. We have to make the exponent positive, so we write 1 over 9 to the positive 1/2. We're going to go from exponential to radical form. So 1 over the second root, or the square root of 9, is 1/3. Our next example is the opposite of 8 to the 4/3 power. And we really should think of this as the opposite of 8 to the 4/3, because our order of operations says we do our exponents first and then take the sign. And now we need to write this in radical form. So we're going to have the third root of 8 all to the 4th power. The third root of 8 is 2 to the 4th power, would be negative 16. Whereas this example, again, writing it in radical form, we have the third root of negative 8 all to the 4th power. The third root of negative 8 is negative 2 to the 4th power, is positive 16. I would go ahead and stop the video here and try both of these problems and then check to see if you get the correct answer. The third root of negative 27 is negative 3 to the 2nd power, is positive 9. Now again, we have a negative exponent, so we have to write 1 over negative 32 to the positive 3/5, and then we want to write it in radical form. So 1 over the 5th root of negative 32 all raised to the 3rd power is 1 over negative 2 to the 3rd power, is 1 over negative 8. How'd you do? You're going to need your graphing calculator for this next section. It says to evaluate and round to 2 decimal places. Remember, that's the hundredths place. So the first one is the third root of 24. And what we can do here, there are 2 ways. I'm going to show you how to do this entering manually, and then how to use your graphing calculator. So this can be written in exponential as 24 to the 1/3, which would be 24 caret to the 1 divided by 3. And then on your calculator, you would end up with 2.884, which rounded would give you 2.88. Now let's take a look at our graphing calculator and see how we're going to use that using our graphing calculator. So what we need to do is we have to go ahead and push math, and notice that number 4 is the third root. So the third root comes up, I just enter 24, enter, and you're going to see 2.88. That's how you're going to do it using your graphing calculator. Let's just go ahead and use our graphing calculator for the next one. We want 126 to the 1/6 power. So again, we can push math, and we want to go through. Now again, I forgot that we actually have to enter what root it is. So I'm going to clear and go back and enter 6, because that's the root we want. We go math down to 5, and now you're going to have the 6th root. I'm entering 126, enter, and notice you get 2.239. 2.239 rounded to the hundredths is approximately 2.24. Our third example is the 9th root. So we need to enter 9 and then go math. And again, we're going to go down to 5. And we have the 9th root of 19,422. And we would end up with 2.995 rounded to the hundredths place is approximately 3.00. Let's look at our fourth example. I would suggest to do this using exponential. So what I'm going to do is write this in exponential form. I'm going to put negative 123 all to the 2/3 power. Now, I can go ahead on my calculator and type in parentheses negative 123 all to the 2 divided by 3. So let's go ahead and do that. I clear my calculator, parentheses, negative 123, parentheses, all to the parentheses, 2 divided by 3, parentheses. And you're going to get, and I forgot my little caret sign, so let's try it one more time. Parentheses, negative 123, parentheses, caret, and then parentheses, 2 divided by 3, parentheses, and we're going to end up with 24.73. For our last example, we have negative 17 to the negative 2/3, and we can just go ahead, put this straight into our calculator. We're going to do parentheses, negative 17, parentheses, raised to the parentheses, negative 2 divided by 3, parentheses, enter. And we're going to get 0.151, which is approximately 0.15. So that's how to use your graphing calculator to evaluate exponential expressions.